Screen share. Music. Stop share. Dock the bottom. Stop share space.
Somebody's got to start this. Hello, everybody.
I was waiting for you to start, Corey.
So the crazy intro here with screen reader and a picture and a crazy sound file only means one thing, everybody. It means we're working from home today because of the inclement weather.
I thought it actually meant this was just another normal episode of Tech Talk. I feel like all
well, that's true.
Interesting.
Well, in many cases, the weird little intro maybe wasn't much different than what you typically got. So, but I know how many people need to hear that banging tune in the morning to get them hyped up for Tech Connect. So I didn't want to disappoint. That's really what it came down to, Luke, is I'm a pleaser and I just don't want to disappoint somebody.
I agree. And you know what? It was interesting hearing our intro music in headphones, because I have over-the-ear headphones. Normally, I don't do that when we're presenting. And the bass was really pumping, Corey. How was the bass for you?
Yeah, this headset's not great, so I was missing out on some of those low ends, but it was still kind of interesting to hear it come a little better quality than what we're used to.
If any of the audience listened to our intro music with the bass cranked all the way up just to get that pumping beat, then please let us know in the chat.
pumping beat.
Pumping beat. As Corey said, we are working from home today. There is a winter weather warning here in the Midwest. So I am currently sat and looking out the window at the snow coming down. And I think, Corey, you are in the basement of your house sheltering from the snow.
I am. I was taught as a kid when there's heavy snow that you go to the basement, and that's the safest place.
Yeah, duck and cover.
That's where the candy cabinet and movie screen is. So
exactly.
And my kids are off of school today too. So sometimes when you get that work from home day, you're sort of excited, and then you find out your kids are home too.
So Corey is very unfortunately stuck in the basement with his projector and his sound system.
Oh, popcorn! You might hear popcorn popping.
His lazy boy style chairs and all of that unfortunate stuff. So I think it's going to be a very hard day for Corey. But I hope all of the audience are having a wonderful day so far. And if anybody else is working from home today because of the inclement weather, then please let us know in the chat. And of course, as we go through the show here, then feel free to put any comments into the chat as well. And we will be happy to answer those. But it is not only comments that we like in the chat, is it, Corey?
No, it really isn't. We also like short stories. Biographies and jokes. Jokes is the other thing that we enjoy.
And that was the one that I was really hoping to nail down on here. So I have a joke, Corey. Do you have any jokes?
I actually have one too that Paul and Paula provided me yesterday. And said I could use it today. So I too have a joke that we can share.
Excellent. So I will say my joke first. It's particularly terrible, so I hope you're looking forward to it. In fact, it almost borders on not really being a joke because it's so unfunny.
Okay.
So here we go. Why did the boy only put on one snow boot? Why did the boy only put on one snow boot? You're on the right track.
He only had half a day off of school.
Oh, you're very close. There was only a 50% chance of snow.
This is, if there ever was a time for the sound effect, missing the sound effects, this is the time.
Oh, no, don't worry. Wah, wah, wah. There we go.
That's pretty good.
Corey, what was your no doubt excellent joke?
You know what? I don't know that mine's much better or worse, but
I kind of hope it's a little bit better.
There's a new game going around right now. A little harder to play in the winter, but you throw avocados at moles. Do you know what it's called?
It sounds like a fun game, but I mean, you have a whack-a-mole game.
Oh, you're close.
Guacamole!
Yeah, there you go.
Hey!
There
Can't
you
believe
got
I
it.
got that.
I can't believe you got it either.
I'm impressed. That's actually quite a good one. So we are being joined today again by Anat Nulman, and Anat is here to tell us about the RealSAM phone. Again, we did just get a question from somebody who sounded a little bit confused in the chat saying, is this for the RealSAM phone? That was from John. Yes, John, sorry, we always start our shows with a little bit of banter, but yes, indeed, we are talking about the RealSAM phone today. And we are joined again by Anat for the second of this very exciting two-parter. We actually have three Anat Nulmans on with us at the moment, but only one of them is the true Anat. Anat, will you please stand up and let us know which one is the true Anat?
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be back.
Hey, and there she is. Yes, we're very happy to have you back. Thank you for agreeing to come on again, because last time we didn't have a chance to go through all of the exciting features of the RealSAM phone. The correct name is the RealSAM Pocket, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I had that. But before we get on to some of the features that we weren't able to cover last time, two things. Number one, if anybody hasn't seen the first part of this, it is available on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/Vision Forward Tech Connect. That's youtube.com/Vision Forward Tech Connect. And you will be able to see the first part of this there. So feel free to check that out. So that was one thing. And what was the other thing I was going to say? There was something else. Oh, of course. Before we get on to talking about the RealSAM, and I have to ask, have you brought a joke with you today?
Of course.
I knew you would have. I knew it. Okay. Hopefully it's better than mine and Corey's. If you would like to take it away.
Okay. So what is the difference between a blind man and a sailor in prison?
Oh, geez. Blind man and a sailor in prison. I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
All right, why don't you tell us?
I don't know.
Okay, so one can't see to go, while the other can go to the sea.
Yours was just as bad as ours, I'm sad to say. So we will have to give you the sound effect.
Big bad influence.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. As we said, Jonathan has put a link to the first part of this session in the chat. So if anybody wants to check that out at any point, then feel free. And yes, today we're going to be talking about some of the features we didn't cover last time. Now, just a quick recap here. And would you care to tell people just the basics about the RealSAM and what the idea is behind it?
Absolutely. So I'm holding the phone here in my hand for those of you who can't see. For those of you who can't, I'll briefly explain. RealSAM Pocket is a first kind of unique, one of its kind, voice-operated smartphone that has been designed specifically for those who struggle with conventional phones because they're too complicated to use. This is a voice-operated phone, so on the screen you don't see any visual apps. Functionality and apps are available. At the bottom, 20% of the screen, you have this large tap to talk button. You will tap on it and you'll tell the phone what you want it to do. So you can say, call Luke, send a message to Corey, read me a book, what is the time, where am I, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, so as we had discussed, this phone is best for those who need a simple solution and just want to be able to talk to the phone. And compared to some of the other smartphones on the market, which do have voice control, it offers additional features, including one of the things that we had looked at last time, which is adding a contact, which is always an issue with a regular iPhone or Android phone because you're not able to add a contact with a voice. And we saw last time how easy that is to do with the RealSAM. So that was exciting, but there are a number of other features which we had not had a chance to get to. So we wanted to take a look at some of those. Just bearing in mind, we can, of course, make calls with our voice, we can send text messages, and as I just said, we can add a contact. So all that stuff is present and correct. But there are some more advanced features as well, including some things which are designed specifically for people with vision loss. So I think last time we had somebody who was asking about the OCR, which is built into the phone. So Anat, why don't you tell us what OCR is, and then maybe give us a demonstration of that on the phone?
Yeah, sure. So OCR stands for optical character recognition, or in simple human language is just ability to read text. It's the ability for your device to snap a photo of the text and read it back to you by voice. What is really exciting is that on RealSAM Pocket, we have not just a regular OCR, but we have the ability to read handwriting, which is very, very exciting because, as many of you know, there are very few options out there in the market and even fewer that actually can do it well. So what I wanted to start today is by showing you some of our magnifier features. And those are really 3 features. They include OCR, which is, like I said, ability to read text, including handwriting, digital magnifier with different color contrasting options for those who have low vision or are sighted and use the phone just because it's their preferred way to interact is by voice, and object recognition. After that, I'd like to show you BeMyEyes, which is another blindness support tool that we have, which is basically a third-party service where you call a sighted volunteer, and they can use your camera to see through it and help you find things and cross the streets and do all kinds of other things. So OCR, magnifier, and object recognition live in magnifier. Like I mentioned earlier, in order for the phone to do anything for you, you have to tap at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to tap and say, open magnifier.
Magnifier starting.
As you can hear, the phone told you exactly what it was doing in case you can't see. And now what happens on the screen is that the screen basically shows whatever the back camera sees, which is half of my face and half of my bookcase. And then we have some buttons that appear on the screen. Like with any other feature, anytime you have anything on the screen that a user can interact with, those things will talk. So the way it will talk, you would put your finger on it, and it will tell you what's under your finger. And if you want to select it, you will simply lift up your finger. So unlike iPhones and traditional phones that have built-in accessibility features, there's no double tapping, triple tapping. You simply lift up your fingers. It's kind of the opposite. So there are 2 buttons on the top, and I'm going to start with the top left, and then I'm going to move my finger to the top right, and then I will scroll down. So there's 2 buttons on the top and 3 buttons at the bottom. So let's hear what they are.
Turn on flash. Exit. Zoom out. Freeze. Zoom in.
Okay, so very,
Focus.
very simple. So what I'm going to do, I have this beautiful chicken scratch handwriting.
Ooh, very nice.
I should have been a doctor based on and not working in assistive technology. So what I'm going to do is I'm holding this piece of paper and my phone above it, and I'm going to tap on freeze.
Focus.
I'm going to
Frozen.
tap on freeze, so it will snap a picture of my beautiful handwriting. Now it's showing on the screen. And I have 2 new buttons who appear that appear on the screen. So I have a menu,
Show menu.
which is my digital magnifier. And then I have also different color contrasting options that are available here. So I'm going to scroll my finger so you can hear what they are.
Contrast up. Brightness up. Gray. Reverse.
Okay, so I selected reverse. So now I have my paper was white with black writing. So now it is the opposite. I have black background with white writing on it. And I can make it bigger by using a pinching gesture and
reach.
smaller. Or I can use those plus and minus, zoom in, zoom out at the bottom of the screen to do
Zoom in.
exactly the same thing, right?
Zoom out. Limit reached.
Okay, then in the middle, I have on the middle top, I have another button that says actions. And if I put my finger on it, it will, I'm having
Show
a hard time
actions.
doing it backwards. It will expand and I'll have 2 options basically to,
Text recognition. Detect object.
so let's do text recognition.
All right, I'm excited to see how well it does here.
Images processing. Processing. Limit reached.
Sorry, I made it smaller so you can see it. So let's do it again.
Processing fit. Show actions. Text recognition. The text in the images. How are you? Let us go to the beach. Dot.
Awesome. That was pretty impressive. So
Yeah.
so the handwriting here, it's not printed handwriting for those who aren't able to see it. This is what we would call joined up writing in school. I'm not sure what the official term is.
Is it cursive?
It is. Thank you, Corey. Yes,
Is that what we're calling the?
this is cursive writing that we are
that's
talking
amazing.
about here. So the fact that it was able to identify that is actually
How
pretty impressive.
so? Not to throw any shame here on Anat at all, but Luke, I'm curious how legible is that handwriting, in your opinion?
Let me put it like this. It's better than my doctor's, but it's not, you know, it's not the neatest writing in the world.
And that's what I'm trying to that's what I'm trying to determine. If it's super neat,
like,
you know.
It's like this. If one of your relations wrote you a Christmas card, it would probably look like that.
Okay.
So what I'm getting from it is the OCR is good enough to recognize the handwriting of normal people. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Shatter my dream of being a doctor now.
I'm sorry. You just need to make your writing a bit worse.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Very cool.
That's really very impressive. How much of a page are you able to do OCR on? So if you have a printed page 8.5 by 11, would you be able to capture the entire page?
Yeah, so this OCR, in terms of, you know, how much information can capture, is no different than most of other OCR devices that people are familiar with. It's just a function of how far away your media or that page is from the phone. So if you want to capture the entire page, you just need to have a little bit more distance to capture it. It can also read things out in the environment. You just need to know where they are. So you can point your phone to it. Again, the further away it is, the further away the phone is from the text, the bigger the text needs to be.
Yes.
So all of the standard rules of lighting and distance and font size that we're all familiar for OCR really apply here. There's nothing too different about it. What's different here is that the fact that it can read handwriting does it relatively well.
Is there any issue with, and I would assume not, but is there any issue if for example, you're looking at a birthday card that has a mix of print and handwriting? Will it just read both to you and just treat them all kind of the same?
Yeah, from the technology standpoint of view, right? This is a computer reading text. It doesn't care how this text is written, as long as it's legible to the computer that interpreting the text. So to answer your question, it's completely agnostic of whether it's handwriting or typed text. As long as it understands what it is, it will read it to you.
Very cool. Awesome. I have two other questions. Number one, if it detects that there is low light conditions, will it automatically turn on the flash, or is that something you would have to do manually?
Yeah, at the moment, it's something you'll have to do manually. It will not. But if you see that it's not reading well, you can try again. And if it's not working again, then you may want to try to do it with the flash.
Got you. And then the second question is, some of these apps that will do OCR these days have a feedback system built in to help you guide the phone to the correct position over the page if you're trying to capture a full page. Is there anything like that built in here, or is it more just doing it by feel and distance and things like that? So
at the moment, you'll have to do it by feel and distance. We have a lot of features that we would like to add and enhance, and having that, like beep, 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 like focusing on the text, having some kind of other feedback is on the list of things that we would like to add in the future, but currently it's not available yet.
And I assume that anybody who gets the phone, if there are software updates, then they would get those software updates for free. Is that correct or not?
Absolutely. We offer 2 years of free software updates. At least 2 years, potentially even more.
Okay, and you would need to have your phone connected to the internet in order to receive those, and they would get pushed to the phone, or how does that work?
That's exactly correct. We will push the updates to your phone, and then you will get a text message by voice with a notification telling you this new feature is available and this is how you access it.
Very nice. Now let's just talk about the touchscreen interface for a second there, because obviously the focus of this phone is to be activated by voice for the most part. So all of the main kind of functions can be done just with the voice. But as we saw there, in the apps which offer more options, then there are some touchscreen kind of parts. And so there, what we saw is you were kind of moving your finger around the screen. And it seemed like the way that you would position those menu items was around the borders of the phone. So like top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, or bottom center and top center, so that it's easy for people to locate those as they are moving their finger around the screen. So Yeah, is that the general design philosophy, just to kind of place any touchscreen items kind of along the edges so people can easily find them?
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Luke. We're trying to make the phone as easy as possible for our users, because most of our users really struggle with complex interfaces. So we want to make it as intuitive and as easy and as accessible as possible. So we don't have many features that require interaction with the screen. This was an example of one, and actually it's at the moment it's pretty much the only one where you have to kind of interact with the screen more than just tapping on it to initiate the conversation. And so that's why we put all of our buttons very close to the perimeter, the inside perimeter of the phone, so it's easy for people to find. And they also talking buttons, right? So if you struggling finding them, you move your finger on the screen until you hear something under your finger.
So,
and then if you want to select it, you lift up your finger.
Yes, yeah.
I have a question around that. And maybe it's just harder to hear or it doesn't do it, but does the phone make any kind of audio feedback when there's nothing under your finger? Like for example, on the iPhone, if there's nothing under your finger, it kind of just makes I don't know. I always call it a dink sound.
You should imitate the sound for us, Corey, so yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Well, dink is the best way.
Fair enough.
But I know. I mean, and it may not, and I could understand if there isn't very many buttons that could get a little annoying after a while. But I was just curious if there was any audio feedback.
Yeah, there are none, and we didn't feel like we needed to have them because unlike, let's say, an iPhone, just to use it as an example, iPhone screen is busy. It has stuff all over it, right?
Yeah.
It has all the apps. On our screen, there's really not much that's happening. On the home screen, there's only two things you can interact with, which is the menu. And let me show that to you since we're talking about it. So I exited my
Magnifier exited.
Our screen is pretty much blank. It has a little bit of graphic elements on the top right corner. We have a logo. In the middle of the page, we have a sound wave. This is for us sighted people, so we don't look at the blank screen. But really, so stuff that you can interact with are this tap to talk button, which is located at the bottom of the screen. It's a virtual button. It really takes just bottom 20% of the screen. And the top left corner, we have a hamburger menu, which is three horizontal lines, which you can expand into a menu. But that's about it. So if we put feedback, I think there would be a lot more feedback than the actual, content. So it kind of doesn't make sense without.
We do have a question here in the Q&A section, and that I thought we could jump into real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Howard is asking if this device has the capability for any constant monitoring or glucose monitoring devices like the Libre or any of the other ones that are getting more and more popular now.
That's a great question. I did a webinar yesterday and I had actually the same question that was asked. We don't have it at the moment, but it's on the list of things that we want to add. So we are planning to add an entire section of kind of healthcare apps and functionality that would include, blood glucose monitoring and some of the other things that people use often. But at the moment, it's not available yet, but it's on the list.
Very cool.
Just to go back to the touchscreen for a second. So I do just want to make it clear, if people have, for example, tried an iPhone in the past and struggled with using VoiceOver, number one, like with the RealSAM, most of it is voice activated. So really, the Magnifier app there is kind of different in that regard. But number two, also the way that you interact with those menu elements, you're not having to kind of locate them and double tap or anything like that. So there's no difficult gestures that you need to learn. It really is just moving your finger around and then lifting it up once you find what you want. So pretty simple. And that, what other features of the Magnifier are available? So we looked at reverse contrast magnification, and then we looked at the OCR. What else is in there which is worthwhile?
Open Magnifier. So I'm going
Magnifier starting.
So with color contrasting options, we have a ton of them, and we also have object recognition. So let me take a picture. I'm going to turn around, take a picture of my bookcase. So I will tap on freeze. And now it basically took a picture of my bookcase. And
right.
again, I have my menu and I have my actions. So with the
Show
menu, last time we did a reverse. So let's pick a different color contrasting option. So again, I'm going to scroll my finger down so you can hear what are the options available.
Contrast down. Contrast up. Brightness up. Brightness down. Reverse. Blue yellow. Black yellow. Black green. Black reset. Black green.
Okay, so now my screen, I changed it to black green. I have kind of a green, lime green, neon green background with everything else in black. Okay, and I can reset it. And then we can also do object recognition.
Show actions.
So again, I'm tapping on the actions, which is the button that's in the top middle. And that's where we can toggle between OCR, ability to read text, and object recognition. And I'm going to select
text recognition, detect object.
So it said detect object. My finger is there. I'm going to lift up my
Sending
finger.
your request. Image is processing. Processing finished. The objects in the image are shelf, furniture, bookcase.
Hey.
It's a bookcase. It is.
It's a shelf, it's a furniture, and it's a bookcase.
So I recognize that. Now, if I take a picture of my screen, it will tell me a person, people on the screen. So it wouldn't tell me, a 35-year-old good-looking man.
Oh, that's me. Thanks. Appreciate that.
It would just tell me two men are there.
When you were doing the screen that had all the different color contrasts, were all of those options visible on the screen? The phone wasn't doing any kind of like scrolling or anything. Is that correct?
So they are visible on the screen. So
Okay.
So let me explain how that works. There is a button that's called menu. And when I put my finger on it,
Show
it
menu.
expands. Now I can move my finger just down, kind of directly down, and that menu is located on the top left corner. So I can feel for the edge of the phone, kind of the perimeter.
Shelf.
Sorry, I
furniture,
touched something else.
bookcase.
On the perimeter of the phone. So if I
Show menu.
expand the menu, I can move my finger down the menu and it will tell me what's under the finger.
Okay.
If I don't move my finger, the phone will not talk. So you have to actually interact with the phone.
Okay.
Now I can tell you that this feature is an advanced feature because it's a little bit more complex to use than everything else where you simply tap on the phone and talk. But users who use this feature love it because they can take their phone to restaurant, they can be out and about around their house, traveling, and just having very quick and easy access, grocery store, to be able to read stuff that they can't see.
I think it's really important that you didn't just create a phone that was only voice powered, because we've seen that before, and it doesn't always work. At the end of the day, it's really not the only way you could ever just use a phone. Now, I think in the RealSAM Pocket, probably 95% or more you can strictly do with your voice. But I like that you did include some screen reading type options where you use some very basic gestures, but it absolutely allows you to do way more than just voice does. So I think it seems to be a perfect balance of both voice and some gestures.
One of the things that I want to mention is I like to think that we are smart, right? Not necessarily me, but the engineers who are sitting in our Melbourne office, right? They're smart guys and girls, but we're not smarter than our users. Everything we have here has been validated by our users. We do beta testing, we have beta testers, we have alpha testers. We're very open to feedback from users, from service providers, like VA employees or employees at the nonprofit organizations who work with end users. So we love to hear feedback. And the phone that we see today is a very different phone that was launched 5 years ago in the UK. It is much, much better, and it's much more tailored to the user's needs.
And that's the nice thing about devices these days is because they tend to be software based. There's a lot of improvements that can be made to the software over time to, based on the feedback of users, and it's no exception here. So that's very good. We have a question in the chat here from Mary, which I think this question is going to vary, but it says, how often does it have to be recharged? So I guess we're asking, what's the average battery life on a single charge here?
Yeah. So the battery life here is long. It really depends on how much you use the phone. I can give you an example. When I go to a conference and I demonstrate the phone all day long, so it's basically working all day long, I go back to my hotel room at the end of the conference, I still have battery left. So I would suspect that with average use, you probably can get a few days out of a single charge, but really good rule of thumb that I follow with my personal phone is I use it during the day, I charge it at night.
Yeah, which is, I think that's the normal thing to do. And it will, as long as it lasts for that day before you're going to plug it in at night, then, that's really enough battery life. So that's good. I was just going to say, we have another question here from Howard asking whether we have Bluetooth for connectivity to speakers or hearing aids.
Absolutely. So Bluetooth is critical, right? We're living in the modern age, so a lot of our devices are Bluetooth enabled. You can connect any device that has regular Bluetooth. So that will include speakers, earphones, and some hearing aids. Hearing aids that use protocols other than the simple Bluetooth will require a streaming device to connect to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, some of the more complex hearing aids, like the made for Apple ones, aren't using just straight Bluetooth protocol.
Right.
That similar question was actually asked about the new Victor Reader Stream coming out, and it was basically the same answer. If your hearing aids uses straight Bluetooth protocol, then it sounds like the RealSAM would work with it. But if it's using a kind of a special codec or connectivity, then it won't work.
Yeah, one example of hearing aids that connect directly are Phonak hearing aids.
Mm-hmm.
So those could be connected directly. And one of the conferences I went to actually was standing right next to an audiologist. So we definitely made friends, and so it was very, very easy to connect it to.
Awesome. So there's quite a lot going on with the Magnifier app there. I think we've unpacked a lot of the cool features. So let's move on to whatever the next exciting feature is. And Nat, I will let you lead the way with this.
Magnifier exited.
Okay, so let me show you BeMyEyes, because I think that's another very handy feature, especially for those who have a more significant vision loss or totally blind. And let's say you drop something on the floor and it's somewhere there and you've been looking for it, but you just can't find it. So you can call a service that is called BeMyEyes. BeMyEyes is manned by volunteers. So you can call the first available volunteer. They will use the back camera of your phone and help you find or navigate whatever help you need that requires a sighted assistance. So the first time you use BeMyEyes on the phone, it will take you through registration process. It will tell you, say 1 if you want to hear terms and conditions of BeMyEyes, say 2 if you want to hear terms and conditions of BeMyEyes and RealSAM, say 3 if you want to hear privacy policy, say 4 if you're ready to sell your kidney, and if you are ready, then they will create an account for you. It could take up to an hour, and then afterwards you will simply tap on the phone. I'll say, BeMyEyes.
Starting BeMyEyes. Please wait.
So BeMyEyes is an integrated app.
First available volunteer.
So
to
there,
cancel, press the hang up button at the bottom of the screen.
So there's things that are flashing on the screen, but we have a voiceover. I'm actually going to hang up before we call a volunteer because I don't want to use up their time. But what will happen, Mary is going to come up and say, hi, I'm Mary with BeMyEyes. How can I help you, right? And then I can say, I dropped something on the floor, and Mary will say, but can you please point your phone towards the floor and then move to your right, move to your left. So they're trained volunteers. They will guide you and tell you basically how to help you so they can help you, right? So that's BeMyEyes. Our users absolutely love it. So we believe it's a great feature. Do we have any questions about BeMyEyes before I move? Because we have a lot more features that I want to show you today.
I'd just like to put a disclaimer out there. You don't actually have to sell your kidney to use this feature.
That's true.
I just want to put that out there. I think we may have talked about BeMyEyes a little last time and just commented on how the fact that you can set it up just using voice commands is really pretty awesome. Because obviously, traditionally, if you were to get the BeMyEyes app, you would need to be using the touch screen and typing things in and so on and so forth. So the fact that it's so easy to do that here is really pretty beneficial.
Yes.
Yeah, I think probably people are pretty familiar with BeMyEyes already as a concept. So why don't we talk about some of the other cool features that the RealSAM has?
Okay, so we also have what we call utilities. Those are just kind of a daily living items that you can access on your phone. So for example, you can say what time it is.
The time is 39 minutes past 9 a.m. on Thursday, February 16th, 2023.
Okay, I can say what's around here. So it's gathering the GPS information of where I am, and it's going to tell
Where
me
you are. Nearby points of interest include Kelly Moore Paints, Clayton Creek Apartments, Lucky, and Shape Health Clubs.
cancel.
Thank you. What's next?
I can ask where am I, and it will give you my address and my cross streets. I'm not going to do this. So if you want to come and visit me, ask Luke and Corey.
I'd just like to say that I'm impressed at how polite the phone was when you canceled the previous action.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool too? I can tell the phone how to refer to me. So
Oh, nice.
call me Anat, but she calls me, call me honey.
No problem, honey. And may I say, that is a lovely name.
I love how the name is a male voice, like
Yeah,
honey.
So we actually do that on purpose, right? So my system voice is female. When it was repeating the way I want to be referred to, my name, it was in a different voice, and it's called auditory contrast. So we do it in a few features, and that helps our users can pay attention. So if the phone did not hear them correctly, they have an opportunity to change it before the phone starts calling them with something they don't want to be called.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this a little in the last video, and I think it's a great idea because it really does draw your attention to those important pieces of information where visually they might have been bold or underlined or something. It's just a way of doing that via audio.
And it does it in a way that's not, for a long time it was very popular for ear cons, where it was little sound effects and to try to draw attention. But that, to me, that just sort of got in the way. I love that you didn't add any more information. All you did was just present that one piece in a different voice, which to me is quicker, faster, and draws my attention more.
Yeah.
And more kind of intuitive. That's how people would talk, as opposed to some kind of a computer generated speech.
Yeah.
Some of the other things we have reminders. So I can say, remind me to turn off the oven in 1 minute.
A reminder has been set for 1 minute.
So in 1 minute, it will tell me turn off the oven. And if I don't dismiss it, it will keep pestering me until I really will have to dismiss it.
Are you able to set up multiple reminders consecutively?
Not at the moment. At the moment,
Okay.
you only send one reminder, and it has to be in minutes or hours. So
Okay.
remind me to do something in X number of hours. So for example, if you want to put an alarm clock and it's 10 o'clock in the evening and you want to get up at 7, remind me to wake up in 9 hours, right? Or something like that, or say, good morning, sunshine, in 9 hours. Whatever gets you out of bed, right? We also have outdoor locations, and I can't really demonstrate it because I'm sitting on my chair right now, but I'll explain how that works. So the use cases is you walk on the street and there's this building that you go to, let's say your Starbucks. It's somewhere here, but you can't really figure out where it is because you can't see.
Turn off the oven.
See this? I'm not going to dismiss it yet because I want you to hear what it will do in a few more seconds.
Does it start getting angry if you don't do it? It's like, I told you to turn off the oven.
Come on, honey, I told you.
My Miss Pocket is very polite.
All right, fair enough.
Never yell. She will just
Turn up the oven 22 seconds late.
Oh, now she's like,
trip you.
yeah.
So to dismiss it, I just simply touch tap to talk.
Reminder stopped.
Very nice. Very
That
nice.
simple. So the first, so you're on the street, you know, it's somewhere here, like, you know, it's close by, but you can't quite figure it out. So what you can do the first time you go to this location, you can tap on the phone at the bottom of the phone and say, label location as Starbucks or my doctor's office or my daughter's house, whatever that may be. And next time, if your locations are turned on, and you can just by voice say, turn locations on, turn locations off. Once you're in the vicinity, it will tell you Starbucks is 50 feet on your right. Your daughter's house is 30 feet straight ahead. So that will help you kind of navigate to the location that you're looking.
So just to clarify a second there. So it doesn't give you step-by-step directions to get somewhere. It just tells you when you are close by to a destination. Is that right, or did I misunderstand?
That's correct. That's
okay.
Exactly. You got it. So just to recap, the utilities that we have are time, weather, date, and if you just say what is the time or what time it is or the weather or date, it will give you local information. Mm-hmm. But for example, I can say, what is the weather in Milwaukee?
Please wait while I find the coordinates for Milwaukee.
So polite.
It told you what she's doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
United States is 29 degrees. No, today's minimum was 27 degrees and maximum was 30 degrees. The forecast for today is snow, minimum 23 degrees, maximum 34 degrees.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So if I just said what is the weather, it will give me my local weather, which is not that hot either. It's in the 40s.
So it's a hard life.
Yeah.
I know. We're Californians. So date, time, weather, reminders, where am I, what's around here, and now door locations. Those are some of the common utilities that our users have access to.
I just want to follow up with something that happened then. So you asked for the weather in Milwaukee, and the phone told you that it was locating the weather. Now, the thing that I liked about that was, if you are using a regular smartphone, oftentimes you'll ask it to do something and it may take a little bit of time. During that time, it's not saying anything. So you're beginning to question whether it actually worked, whether you did something wrong, you know, anything like that. Whereas here, the phone told you, hey, I understand what you want here and I'm trying to do it for you. So that was really nice. Is that type of feedback across the phone in terms of, you know, the different applications? Is it always that kind of helpful?
That's correct. That's correct. So this phone, right, supposed to be an easy to use phone for our users. And that's what our users report, that it's much easier to use than some of the other alternatives available. So we're trying to make it as not just as easy, but the phone gives you constant guidance, right? So in whatever that you're doing, it gives you guidance, it gives you options of what you can say to achieve the result that you want to achieve. If you're trying to do something, it will repeat what you ask it to do, so you know it heard you correctly. And then it will give you kind of feedback, like in this case, you know, wait until I get the GPS location for that particular location that you want me to get you information for. Yeah. I also want to say that we designed this phone and developed this phone specifically for people who are visually impaired, whether people have quite a bit of vision, but just struggling with reading and using traditional phones, or those who have a much more significant vision loss or totally blind. But what we realized, because we have so much guidance on the phone, and the phone's kind of virtually holds your hand in a sense, we also getting a larger number of users who may have cognitive and memory challenges, because they don't have to rely on their memory. They can just follow the instructions of the phone.
Yeah, that's nice. And I assume that it's using the same type of natural language processing that you get with other smartphones, whereby you can ask it to do things in a variety of different ways, and it will generally understand what it is that you're trying to do, rather than having to give it just one specific command for each function. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. There's three. Just let's get a little dorky for a second and talk about technology, right? And I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. So there's really three levels of voice technology. The most basic one is AVR, which stands for automatic voice recognition. This is when you call your doctor and the prompts tell you, say 1 to schedule an appointment, say 2 to talk to your doctor, say 3 to pay your bill. Very, very limited, very, very basic. You just have to be very, very precise. Second is voice command. So Siri, for example, is a voice command-based application. It is transactional. So you ask your device to do one thing, it will do that one thing and forget about it completely, right? So it's done, it forgot about it. So you perform the transaction, it's over. We're using a technology that's called voice dialogue. And in fact, a lot of the features, such as making phone calls and text messages and contacts, is a proprietary developed technology. We use our parents company, RealSAM's voice dialogue platform for the RealSAM applications. And that allows for intelligent conversations between us as people, humans, and devices. So in this case, RealSAM Pocket. One example would be, for example, you're reading a book and your phone rang, you talk on the phone, and then you want to know the time. So you ask for the time, but before it tells you the time, it will tell you, it looks like you were reading The Old Man and the Sea. Mm-hmm. Would you like to resume from where you stopped? And it even remembers where you stopped, so it has this digital bookmark. So that helps users to stay on track, especially if they have any kind of memory challenges.
Yeah, that's really cool. And if anybody wants to see anything else similar to that in action, they should stay tuned to our YouTube channel, because in our next video, which we'll release next Thursday, we are taking a look at using ChatGPT with a screen reader. And in a similar way with ChatGPT, it's an artificial intelligence which you can talk with via a text box, and it remembers the conversation. So it's really kind of creepy in a way, because it's really just like talking to another person. You can't tell the difference. It remembers what you're talking about. It says things contextually to do with the conversation. So yeah, that's a really cool advancement for this type of technology for sure. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. So since we were talking about books, I want to mention that we have sort of 3 pillars of functionality, right? So last time we talked about communications. Right now we talked about tools, whether they are visual support tools or just basic utilities. And the third pillar, kind of the third set of features, is content. We have access to 4 different book libraries. We have newspapers, radio, and podcasts. And that newspaper reading functionality is actually something that we developed. We came as a genesis, originally we came from kind of that media streaming background. So our first prototype of the device was just a book reader, and then morphed into a phone. But with book reading, it makes it really easy. So we have 4 different book libraries. You first have to select a book library, and then you can search by author, by book name, by genre, by topic. But you can do complex searches. You can search, read me a book by Hemingway about an old man, right? And then The Old Man and the Sea, if it's available, would be the first one to show. So if you like, I can show some of that functionality.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so there are multiple ways to start kind of a book reading, but let's just do it very basic. So I'm going to just say, read me a book.
Select a book from your bookshelf. 1. Day Boy and the Night Girl. 2. The Sun Also Rises. 3. In Our Time. 4. Secret of the Ninth Planet. Say a number or words from the options.
So this went straight to my bookshelf, because remember I told you, device actually remembers what I was doing. So I was already in my bookshelf, and so it went back. If I wanted to go somewhere else, I could say list libraries, and it will give me the list of libraries, which also will include my bookshelf and my recent books. And then I would select one of those sources, and then I can search within. But since we're already in my recent books, I'm going to select, I can't remember what the books were, let's say number 2.
Reading the Sun Also Rises. Starting from where you left.
Starting
Chapter
from
1.
where you left,
Please
right?
wait.
It
He
remembered.
cared nothing for boxing. In fact, he disliked it, but he learned it painfully and thoroughly to counteract the feeling.
I'm a sighted person, but I like it faster. So I can tap and say, read faster.
The play speed for Reading the Sun Also Rises has been increased.
And I can do it multiple
Returning
times.
to the audio stream.
Read faster.
The play speed for Reading the Sun Also Rises has been increased. Returning to the audio stream. The Project Gutenberg ebook of The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. The Project Gutenberg ebook of...
Jump forward. Oh, sorry, I have to say.
I am reading a text and I cannot estimate where to jump to. Please say next or previous to change section or ask to.
Okay,
list
so
next or list previous.
cancel.
Thank you. What's next?
So what happened here is I'm reading a book from a Project Gutenberg library, and unlike the other 3 libraries, Project Gutenberg actually printed books. So the command that I said, jump forward, only works with audiobooks. That's basically forward and rewind. And I should have said jump forward a number, right? And that if I would say jump forward to 10, it would jump forward to 10 minutes. But with Project Gutenberg, because it's a type book, it cannot understand the command. But it gave me a response that was very sensical, that made sense, right? It said, I can't do that because I'm a Project Gutenberg book, but you can say those words, right? You can go next or forward, so you can go to the next chapter or next page.
Sure.
So even the error messages, right, are in a way that they help our user to achieve the results that they want to achieve. So with books, you can change the rate of speech. You can change the rate of speech of the device, of your system, right? When you can say speak faster, speak slower, speak very fast, speak normal. So there are multiple ways of doing it. And you can do the same thing for each particular book. So you can say, read faster, read slower, read very fast, read normal, etc.
So for those book services, is there a sign up or anything like that, or will they just work straight away when somebody receives the phone?
So we have 4 different book libraries. We have Project Gutenberg, LibriVox, Torch Trust, and Calibre Audio. Calibre is the only one that is paid. It used to be free. It's actually free for the residents of the UK, but if you reside outside of the UK, you have to pay a small fee. For it's just a few dollars a month, and they just changed that. So when we launched it, it was free. So again, if you don't have to use it, you don't have to use it. That one you need to sign up. And then we have instructions on how to do that. You can initiate it on the phone, and then you have to wait about 24 hours until they set up your account. With everything else, it's automatic and immediate. So with the other 3 book libraries, you don't have to do anything.
Very nice. And you had mentioned Project Gutenberg. So those are actually text books. So the phone is reading that book in its own voice because it's reading the text of the book. But the other services, are they actually audiobooks? So you would have human narrators for those?
Absolutely. So the other 3 are audiobooks recorded by people like you and I, probably the ones that have better voice than I do. Absolutely. And then you still can control the rate of speech for any of the books, whether it's Project Gutenberg or somebody that's been recorded by a recording artist.
And just for the record, Anat, I think your voice is perfectly nice. So you know, if you wanna read an audio book, then go for it. That's what I say. Yeah.
Well, since you crushed my dreams of being a doctor, at least I can.
Yeah, you'll have to now move on to being a narrator instead.
Yeah, why not? All right, well, we are just about out of time here. So thank you very much for joining us again, Anat. It's been a pleasure to hear about these other features of the RealSAM. And I think we can all agree that it has a number of great features and really is a good phone for those people who do struggle with your traditional smartphones and things like that. Any final thoughts from Corey or Anat here before we end our session today?
I just wanted to touch base and make sure, Jonathan, if there was any comments or questions through the YouTube live before we wrapped up. I assumed you would have popped in if there was, but thought I'd just double check quick.
Yes, right now I think we're in the clear, although it is nice to know that, well, I mean, I don't know if we can identify him yet, but our director is quite pleased.
Very good.
Our number one fan. Excellent. Yes.
Awesome.
Very good. So do join us again in 2 weeks' time when we will have another show about something.
We'll be talking about voice dictation in Windows. So you'll
very
be
nice.
here. Yeah, so you'll be running that one.
Yeah, that's something which has been quite popular, the idea of being able to dictate on the computer. We have a YouTube video on dictation in Windows 10, which we released a while ago, and it's been our most popular video. So hopefully people will be interested in finding out about dictation in Windows 11 on our next Tech Connect Live. That will be, of course, in 2 weeks' time, and same time, 11 o'clock Central, same place. So please do join us for that. Next week, we will have a produced YouTube video releasing about our adventures with ChatGPT. So I do want to point out here that during the video, Corey and I fall out. We have
a fight.
Well, spoilers.
Yeah, but spoilers, I know, sorry, but I just wanted to put it out there. It is a staged production, just in case Corey and I's acting.
Or is it?
Well, I mean, I thought it was. I don't know about you. Just in case
I'm a method actor.
Fair enough. Just in case our acting is a little too good and you thought it was real. No, it's all staged, of course. Hopefully that should be a fun video that's going to be out in next Thursday. As I said, it will publish at 6 o'clock. So feel free to tune into YouTube and check out the preview when that releases at 6. And then in 4 weeks' time.
Well, I just want to, youtube.com/vision/tech connect, because we don't have it up on the screen this time. So youtube.com/vision/tech connect.
I'm going to type it in the chat too.
Yeah, thank you. You'll also see an archived version of this and the previous RealSAM Pocket Tech Connect Live we had. So youtube.com/vision/tech connect.
And additionally, in 4 weeks' time, it's going to be a very exciting Tech Connect because we'll be coming live from CSUN. So we haven't quite figured out the details. We're not sure whether we're going to be walking around the show floor, whether we're going to have somebody in a room for an interview, or exactly what we're doing yet. But it will be live from. We'll be live.
We'll be in California. That's all.
We'll be in California. So yes, wish us luck there.
If I may, guys, I want
please.
to leave for those listeners who are interested in more information about RealSAM Pocket. The best place to go is our website, which is realsam.us, and it's spelled RealSAM.us. Thank you, Luke, for putting it in the chat box. And we will be also at CSUN. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. And if anybody wants to stop by our booth and visit, we love visitors.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So if you're going to be in the area, definitely stop by the RealSAM booth, and also let me and Corey know, because we'd be happy to see people too.
We're looking for a lunch. So
we're looking for a free lunch. Yeah.
If anybody wants to take us to lunch, we're YouTube celebrities. So our schedule's booking up pretty fast. Actually, it's very open, so just give us a lunch.
Speaking of YouTube celebrities, a little milestone here. We just passed 3,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, that's very exciting. So thank you to all of our subscribers. Jason says that he's going to be at CSUN. So Jason, feel free to reach out to our email if you wanted to get together and peruse the show floor or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But we are out of time for now. So, sorry, somebody called Tim. It's not going to be Jason. It's going to be somebody called Tim. Well, if Tim wants to meet up, then that's also fine.
If he doesn't mind that we call him Jason. I'm just kidding, Tim.
All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of the day, and we will see you on this show in 2 weeks' time. Thanks again, Anat, and we look forward to seeing you at CSUN. And bye for now, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
So sorry, no theme music out. So maybe.
Oh no, just imagine it in your head.
Have a good one, everybody.